Okay. So yeah, just come up to standing. Good. Okay, so we're going to come up to standing at the front edge of our space. I've got the wall quite close to me, but ideally you'd be able to stretch out your arms to the side, okay? And what I'm going to do is take my arms like up the center line with the sun salutation. So I'd like us to come into feet squared and hip width. Just separating your feet, taking the gaze forwards and out towards the horizon. So I'm going to come around this way towards the window and gently engaging the feet towards the floor. So what we call pada bandha, broadening the feet, grounding the feet, lengthening the arms, stand by your side, what we call hasta bandha. And then from there, gently lifting the spine. So you're lengthening the spine. So that overall effect on the spine is sometimes called meru bandha, lengthening of the spine. So it's a combination of lifting and broadening the rib cage and gently looking for that toning in the lower belly, which is mula bandha. So a couple of days ago, we were talking about bandhas quite a bit. So you can feel the bandhas in Tadasana, hasta bandha in the hands and arms, pada bandha in the feet and legs, meru bandha in the spine. Okay, connecting now with your breath. So we're going to do a few rounds of sun salutation. On inhale, I want you to take your arms up. So I'm going to take them up my center line, but you can take them out wide. Reach up and a little bit back. Exhale, we're going to fold forwards into the legs. You can bend the knees. Inhale, you're going to step the right leg back, coming into the low lunge. Exhale, grounding your palms, swing back into dog pose. Lifting the pelvis. Inhale, coming into all fours. Keeping the elbows tucked in, we come through 8-point pose. And into a low back bend, Bhujangasana. Exhale, release down. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, dog pose. Taking your right leg forward in a big step forwards. High lunge, exhaling. Inhale, left foot forwards. Exhaling. Inhale, we're going to sweep the arms either up the center line or out to your sides, all the way up. Slightly back, exhale, namaste. And we'll go into the other side. Inhale, arms up and back. Exhale, forward into your legs. Softening the knees. Inhale, the left foot goes back into the low lunge, the gaze forwards. Exhale, dog pose. Here we can reconnect with hasta bandha, so grounding the palms, lengthening through the arms. And maybe you'll get a feel for mula bandha, gentle toning the lower belly, lengthening through the waist area, broadening in the rib cage, uddiyana bandha. Inhale, all fours. And exhale, coming through 6-point pose, 8-point pose, should I say, into Bhujangasana. Lifting away from the floor, lengthening the waist, grounding the pubic bone. Exhale, release down and back into dog pose once again. Stepping the left foot forwards on a high lunge to high lunge. Inhale, right foot comes in. Exhale. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, whichever way is better for you in your space. Exhale, namaste. Okay, we'll do one round on each side again. Inhale, arms coming up and back. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, right foot goes back into the low lunge. Exhale, dog pose. Grounding the palms, hasta bandha. Lifting the head in line
with the arms. Inhale into all fours. Coming through 8-point pose, keeping the elbows tucked in. Into Bodhiyoga-27. This time let's leave the palms back. Gently lift the palms off the floor so it's a little bit more demanding. Pull the upper back, draw the shoulder blades down and in. Tops of the feet on the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, all fours. Dog pose. Reclarifying the Hasta Bandha. Grounding of the palms. Active legs. Feeling your way into Mula Bandha. Lower belly. Lengthening the waist. Uddiyana Bandha. Step the right foot forwards, high lunge. Exhale, inhale, left foot forwards. Falling into your legs, again, sweeping the arms up, appropriate to your space, and back. Exhale, namaste. Last side. Inhale, arms up, exhaling into forward fold. Inhale, right foot goes back into the, left foot back, left foot to the low lunge. Exhale, dog pose. Inhale, all fours. Keeping the elbows coming in, sweeping through. 8-point pose into Bodhiyoga-27, but keeping the palms back. And then gently lift the hands off the floor. So you're engaging quite strongly the upper spine. And release. Inhale, all fours. Dog pose. Inhale, left foot comes forwards. Exhale, inhale, right foot. Exhale, sweeping up. Taking the arms back into Namaste. And I'm going to turn to face the camera, but you can stay where you are. I want you to bring the edges, inner edges of the feet together. I'm going to come into the first balance pose. I'm going to turn the left leg out. To the left heel rests on the right ankle. And then we're going to lift this foot as high as is possible into the inner right groin. Again, you can clarify Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, palms together. It's of lifting and lengthening, broadening. Taking the arms wide. So yeah, my arms go off the screen now, but you can take the arms up. Extending upwards. Take the gaze to the horizon, sense of being tall, long through the body. We'll come back to this pose a bit later on and try a more demanding version. So here we're aiming at poise, growing the spine, bringing the awareness into lengthening the arms, broadening the hands, lengthening the fingers. Hasta, Bandha, exhale, take the arms down, hands to hips this time. Feet together, turn your right foot out. And lift as high as is possible on to your left inner leg, palms together. Lifting, broadening the chest, sense of growing the spine. Meru Bandha. Arms come out. So this is a more stable position with the arms wide. Lengthening through the arms, Hasta Bandha, arms up. And breathe there, growing the spine, and release.
hands down. So now down by your side. Okay, back to the front edge of your mat. I'd like you to have your cork brick or 2 firm bricks around towards the right foot. Okay, we're going to step the right leg back a decent distance, quite a long base. We'll go for a long base, okay? And turn the pelvis towards the long edge of the mat. Okay, again, instead of lifting the waist, bring your hands onto your hips, growing the spine. Take your left arm up, but we can even reach back. Slide to open the left side. Breathing, now we can look out to the left, opening the left side of the body. Both legs straight at the moment. Giving your body a chance to open up on the left side. As you exhale, bend the left leg. Bringing the left forearm down to the left leg and then adjusting your foot base. So you're as wide as you can be and stable. For Salamba Pajvakonasana. Okay. Then we're going to reach the right arm back and up and maybe look up. It's okay in the neck. Very open pose, but supported by the left forearm on the left thigh. If it's not okay on your neck, then just look down. Breathing now. Okay, exhale, we're going to turn towards the floor and step back into dog pose. Inhale, coming into all fours. Exhale, dropping through 8-point pose. Inhale, Bhujangasana with the hands back, lifting the hands slightly off the floor, grounding the tops of the feet, pubic bone, lifting and then release. Exhale, inhale, exhale back up into dog pose. We're going to walk forwards, a bit more gentle this time rather than step. Feet hip width apart, folding into the legs, sweeping up, can bend the knees. Exhale, hands drop down onto the hips. And now we're going to turn to the left. So my right leg is forwards. Same idea, opening the right side of the body. So take your right arm up and opening, giving your body a chance to open the right side laterally. The body, both legs straight, grounding the left foot. Breathing now. Engaging your feet towards the floor. Padabandha. With an exhale, we're going to come into Shalamba Vajrakonasana. So your right forearm now on your right thigh. Again, we can take the top arm up, looking up, depending on your neck. Sense of opening the chest, back leg straight and active, top arm straight and active, but you can move the shoulder blade away from the ear down, opening the chest there. So keeping with this little linking sequence, this little vinyasa, we're going to exhale, turn towards the floor, grounding the palms, step back into dog pose. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, dropping through 8-point pose. So you could just come to the floor if you want to do something a bit more gentle. Coming into Bhujangasana with the hands lifting, gaze forwards and down. Just going to generate more heat in the body. More heat than there already is in the atmosphere. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, all fours, dog pose. On the exhale, walking forwards. And bring your bricks in. So they're into the right top corner, right side of the top corner of your mat. Inhale, sweeping up. And hands drop down onto the hips. So we're going to step the right leg back, Again, a decent distance. And we'll bring these bricks into the inner edge of the brick or bricks, the inner edge of your left foot. Again, opening the left side of the body. Reaching out, both legs straight. This time, instead of bringing the forearm to the thigh, we reach down to the floor. So you bend the front leg out of the floor to the bricks. Depends on your flexibility. You might want to go all the way to the floor and drop down into the space there as much as is possible, keeping the left arm against the inner left thigh. So this is more strong. It's stronger, should I say, on the hip joint. Okay, so take your right arm up. Again, engaging Hasta Bandha, active arm. This time we're going to take the arm across. Breathing there, rolling the chest towards the ceiling. Long through the right side of the body, just for a few breaths. Okay, so we're emphasizing a bit more movement this time. Exhale, we're going to turn towards the floor, rearrange your arms, one hand each side of the foot, step back. Dog pose. Okay, so we'll go through this vinyasa just a couple more times on this pose. All fours, 8-point pose, Bodhiyoga-27. Palms either grounded or lifting. Releasing down. Back into dog pose, walking forwards. While we're here, we're going to move the bricks to the left corner, sweeping up and hands to hips. So I'm going to turn away from the camera. So we'll take the left leg back. Long distance. Open your right side. Both legs straight. So taking a little bit of time there. So we're leaning back into the pose. Can allow the pelvis, the sense of it moving forwards to the short edge of your mat. And then all the way down, either to the floor or to the bricks. If the bricks are handy, use them. If they're not, can dispense with them. Checking, see if you can get a little bit more, as it were, depth in the pose, in the sense of dropping a little bit lower, widening the base. Your inner leg meeting your right arm, and then we're going to turn the chest, take the arm, left arm up and across. If it's not okay on your neck, you can look down, grounding the right palm, left foot. Breathing there again, short holds, just a few short breaths. Okay, we can move the bricks out of the way, come round to dog pose. Last visit to this little vinyasa. Inhale all fours, dropping through, 8-point pose into Bodhiyoga-27. Palms lifting up, shoulder blades moving down the back. Suppose for toning and strengthening the paravertebrals. At the same time as keeping a sense of the pelvis grounded. Lower back is safe here. Okay, releasing down. And all fours, dog pose. Walking forwards. We'll bring the bricks. Let me just think. Yeah, they want to be on the left side and forwards on the left side. So forwards of your left foot and slightly back. About 50 centimeters, 60 centimeters. Coming up. Hands onto the hips. So we're going to come into another balance here. So a shorter distance back with your right leg. Okay, so we did this a couple of weeks ago. Again, let's open the left side of the body. Pelvis can move slightly forwards, a sense of tipping the pelvis back and moving it forwards. We're going to bend now the front leg and bring the hand down to the floor. So you've got a short stance. You're going to bring the back foot in, bring the hand up onto your support and lift, float the back leg up, projecting through your right leg, both legs straightening. There's lots of hasta bandha and pada bandha. Everything's engaged, everything's kind of on, as it were. And then you can see about taking your right arm up. Just in terms of balance, it's probably better to look down. You'll see if you try and look up, it's very easy to fall out of the pose. Oops. So engage the back leg, lifting leg. Okay, we're going to bring the top arm down. And we're going to pick up the bricks. Okay, with the hand, bring them up and move them across to the other side. So we'll just simply turn this time to the other side. So I'm now facing my right side, taking the right arm up and open the right side of the body. Both legs straightening. So it may help to release the front knee a moment, to get a sense of, to release the hip. And then think about or try straightening the front leg again. As you open your right side, leaning back. Exhale, bending the front leg, moving the bricks to where they need to be, slightly forwards and back, bringing your back foot in, floating the back leg up, looking down, half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. And maybe the top arm floats up, Hasta Bandha in the top arm, broadening across the shoulders, both legs engaged. Standing leg, straightening. As I said, I would look down. What you can work on when you're in the pose is a sense of lengthening the spine to re-clarify Meru Bandha. So this is this sense of lengthening the spine. Okay, exhale, bending the standing leg and drop back. Carefully come back up. Okay, we're going to turn to face the long edge of the mat for a moment. Hands to hips. Let's just have a pause there. Breathing. Close the eyes. Grounding through the four corners of the feet. If you can imagine the feet square. There's a big toe, the little toe, back heel, inner heel, and outer heel. Inhale, extending your arms out again. And step back to the forward edge of your mat. It doesn't really matter which end you go to, because we're going to work from the short edge of the mat. So hands come onto the hips. And I want you to step your left foot back, okay? So a medium distance. So again, we're going to come into another balancing pose here. Bend your right leg and extend the arms forwards or to the sides and then up. Coming into the warrior pose, so the back leg is engaging that. So we're going to work without bricks. Sometimes we just talk with a couple of bricks, but to make it a little bit freer, we're going to work without bricks. So as you exhale, I want you to drop your arms down, back to the hips, and then tip forwards towards your right leg, and then reach forwards to the floor, reach the floor, and then walk your hands forwards a bit and lift, float the back leg up. So you're coming into, again, balancing on one leg. And then we're going to come onto the fingertips. And then we're going to explore taking the right arm straight back in line with its own hip. The left arm straight back.
in line with its own hip. I'm cheating there using the wall. Breathing there. Lifting away from the floor. The chest. And let's just see how long we stay there. Probably not very long. We're going to bring the hands down. Dropping your back foot back. Probably a shorter distance, that's fine. Coming up, lifting the chest. And sweep your feet forwards, okay? Back into the initial position and come back into Tadasana. Again, growing your spine, feet hip width. Re-clarifying the bandhas, pada bandha in the feet, so sense of broadening, grounding the feet. Arms gently active. Long spine. Bring our hands to the hips again. The right foot goes back. Medium distance. Okay, and then bending the front leg. Sweeping the arms either to the sides or up. Coming into the warrior pose just for a moment. Keeping the back leg engaged. Pelvis forwards. So we're really doing this as transition. So we're going to tip forwards, bring the arms down, tip forwards, the fingertips reach for the floor. We launch ourselves up. Pelvis stays more or less level. Active back leg. Lifting the chest away from the floor. Let's try and bring the right arm up, the left arm up, away from the floor. Arms active. Try and keep the four corners of your standing leg actively engaged towards the floor. Breathing there. See about lifting the chest a little bit higher. Sense of a long spine. Whoops, and we're down. Coming down when you're ready. Back leg drops down as gracefully as you can. Sweeping up, long spine. Sweep your right foot forwards. Coming into Tadasana. Okay, so you can stay where you are. I'm going to turn to face the camera. So bring the feet together again. We'll just try one more pose on the feet. And growing your spine. So it's a balancing pose. Once again, as we can do this in a couple of stages, okay? So I want you to bring your left foot up and see if you can take hold of your left big toe, for example, with the index and thumb, middle finger, or you could take the outside of your left foot. If you prefer to work with your right, that's also fine. Then we bring the right hand onto the hip, to his own hip. This is the first stage. So what we're going to do is explore without compromising the lower spine, extending the leg forwards, possibly straightening, possibly not. Breathing there. So I've got a wall behind me, so that is quite a useful prop. And then we'll explore taking the leg out to the side, possibly straightening, possibly not. Try to keep the gaze out towards the horizon. Breathing there. When you're ready, bend that leg in. And once again, Tadasana, inner feet together. Take a pause there. So it's a strong pose with it, obviously asymmetric. So you're going to feel how you've worked one side of the body in a particular way, the other side in the other way. You feel like after the pose, you can feel a bit unbalancing, curiously. Okay, so we'll do the same on the other side. So you'll float your other foot up. So maybe you just stay here, taking hold of the big toe. Left hand comes onto its own hip. Breathing there, try to keep the left foot grounded. Bring the right leg forwards, growing the spine. And then we'll explore taking that leg out to the side, possibly straight, possibly not. Breathing there. Pausing. Growing your spine. So see if you can re-clarify. Oh, we're out. Coming down when you're ready. Coming back into Tadasana, but separate your feet. So I'm going to move back to the front edge of the mat. Come back into Tadasana. Clarify. Again. Pada Bandha, grounding in the feet, lengthening of the spine, Meru Bandha, active arms, Hasta Bandha. Okay, yeah, one more pose, yeah, one more stand, balancing pose. So bring your feet together. I think this will work from this angle. So we're going to take the arms straight forwards in front of you, Gurudasana. Okay, I want you to bring your right elbow inside your left elbow and see if you can wrap. And then we lift the elbows about the same height as the shoulders, as the upper body. The lower body, we're going to bend the knees. We're going to bring the right thigh over the left thigh. And you can stay with both your feet on the floor, or you can explore wrapping your right foot around the left shin. So easier is your right foot on the floor. It probably stays a little bit more graceful, a bit more elegant, or you challenge yourself a little bit. So you're wrapping your right foot behind your left shin. Keep looking towards the horizon. Breathing there. When you're ready, releasing out. Feet, arms, back into Tadasana, inner feet together. Growing the spine. Arms come forwards. We're going to float the arms forwards. Engaging the arms in front of you. Now the left elbow into the right, wrapping the arms. Is the arms, bending the knees a little bit. And then we can bring the left thigh across the right thigh. I'm staying on the tiptoes of my left foot to begin with. So there's a sense of stability through the legs. I can bend a little bit more deeply and explore taking the left foot behind the right calf. Some balancing. It's a lot of load bearing on one hip, but the pose is quite compact. So hopefully that works in creating some stability. When you're ready, dropping the feet, dropping the foot, release the arms, carefully unwind. Feet now separate, hip width. We're going to reach up the arms and reach back. Exhale, folding towards your legs. Transitioning to the floor now. Inhale, gaze forwards. Exhale, walk your feet back. Step your feet back. Coming into dog pose. Grounding the hands, lengthening through both sides of the body. So that's, relatively demanding standing sequence. See how you feel after that. Inhaling, coming into all fours. Exhale. I'm going to take a pause for a moment into child's pose. Closing the eyes, completely surrendering to the floor. Inhaling, bringing your hands forwards. And exhale, inhale all fours. This is again strength building.
movement. So we did this, a couple of weeks ago, tucking the toes under, come up into dog pose. And we're going to increase the stretch into one leg. So it doesn't really matter because we're going to alternate. So you're going to reach back with one leg. The pelvis is not going to stay completely level, but you can aim for that. And then you dive down, just moving through chaturanga, but really you're not staying in chaturanga. So you keep your right leg floating up, resisting, and then we come to the floor. So it's just a moment. We're coming through chaturanga on one leg, and then inhale or force. I'm keeping the lifting leg lifting all the way through until the very last moment. So I'll take my left leg up, exploring straightening of the other leg. When you're ready, on inhale, coming down, resisting. So elbows have to come in. It's a little bit like 8-point pose, and to the floor. And release or force. And let's try one more time on each side, okay? Dog pose. One detail here is you could try doing it with the inner feet together. See if makes a difference in terms of sense of keeping the pelvis stable. So the right leg goes up and back. When you're ready, diving forwards, elbows tucked in, and we meet the floor. Great. Last side. Inner feet together, big toes together. Lifting the other leg, opposite last side, as it were. Exploring straightening both legs. Coming down on an in-breath. And exhale. From there, inhale, coming into all fours. Now I'm going to thread both arms through your legs. And rest again onto child's pose. Breathing there. Just going to check what's going on here. Okay, good. Breathe there. Okay. Okay, from here, on an inhale, sweeping up the arms forwards and into all fours. And then I'm going to turn, it doesn't really matter which way you turn, but I'm going to turn on to my right and come into, we did this a few weeks ago. So again, it's a strength movement. So I'm folding my legs up in like a V shape. My hips, shoulder and elbow on the left side are in line, and I'm just propping myself up there. Okay, and then I bring, as much as I can, I open the front of the pelvis, bring the knees back. It's going to be difficult to line up your knees with your hips and elbow, but you're bringing them back in line there. And then we bring the right hand onto the right hip. It'll be opposite, obviously, if you're doing it on the other side, and then you just gently lift up. It's quite powerful, but I think it's, hopefully it's available to you. And then you drop the hips down, okay? So we'll do that a couple of times. Could play with the alignment. So I'm actually going to bring my knees slightly forward to make it a little bit easier. Left forearm grounding. Elbows lifting, the gaze can be forwards or down. Breathing there. And release. And one more time. Lifting up. Breathing there. Sense of alignment. Hips, shoulders. And release down. Carefully coming around to all fours.
And we'll stretch out into dog pose. Or if that's too much for you, you can stretch out in child's pose as well, but keeping the arms active and long. Setting yourself up on the opposite side. So my right forearm is coming down. Left, my legs together, folded up, like a side plank, basically. And then let's try this 2 or 3 times. So the left hand now rests on the left hip. On an inhale, lifting up. Gosh, that's so much easier. So yeah, you're gonna find one side of your body much easier. Probably your right side, this side, because we're, for right-handed folks, we're stronger on that side. Come down, breathing there. And again, lifting. So once you're up, legs, spine in line. See if you can re-clarify Hasta Bandha in the right arm, Hasta Bandha in the left arm, the bandhas in the legs, so the feet slightly active, and then Meru Bandha. These have a long spine. So one of the objectives of the bandhas is to bring a sense of integration into the pose, joining the parts. Okay, releasing down. I'm noticing a big difference between the two sides of the body. Okay, 3rd time, if you wish. Coming up. Breathing now. Long neck as well, okay, so you can look down, look forwards. I don't think looking up is going to feel that great. Shoulders broad. And release. Okay, coming around to all fours. And then we're gonna move into more of a passive stretching now. So just for a moment, so I'd like you to gather together a pile of things like bricks, or it could be a mixture of a bolster and some bricks, but you wanna get at least 2 palm height. So I'm actually gonna put, I'm lucky here, I've got loads of bricks, but if pile in front of you, we're going to do the shoulder hang. So I'll give you a moment to gather whatever you can. So it needs to be sufficiently high that the head can hang through. Okay, the arms. I might as well use the gear I've got a bolster as well. So actually, that's more like 3 palms height now. Could be a chair actually as well. Okay, so you bring your elbows up onto your support and you're in all fours effectively. And then we bring the forehead to the support as well. And then we're going to walk your knees back. What you really want is that the weight hangs into the shoulders, not into the belly. So it may help to engage the belly a little bit. So Mula Bandha, the gentle cradling of the belly, lower belly. And we'll allow ourselves to hang into this pose. Closing the eyes. So in this first visit, I've got my forehead supported. Think about lengthening the waist. So it should be, this is relatively gentle, but it might be, depends on you. Some people, this will be plenty of sensation and plenty challenging. The elbows, you can play with, bring them closer together. And then on an inhale, we're going to swing up, walking the knees in. So the second visit, the idea is to pop the head through the arms
You can allow the head to hang through, but ideally you've got enough height that your head is not touching the floor. Okay, so it doesn't need to be as high as I've got it. It just wants to be sufficiently high so the head is free. Okay, so you bring your elbows up, not too wide, the elbows, shoulder width or maybe narrower. And then see if you can thread your head through. So it's floating there into the space. Again, walking the knees back, guarding against hanging too strongly into the belly. So you can play with rolling the pelvis back a little bit, subtly engaging Mula Bandha. Actually, when you roll the pelvis back, you'll feel Mula Bandha. Just in the front edge of those hip bones, a gentle drawing back. Helping to keep some stability in the lower body and taking the work into the upper body, around the shoulders. Connecting with your breath. So I'm not really mentioned a lot about the breath, but yeah, do connect now. Whether we've been moving with the breath. So when you're ready, on an inhale, opening the eyes, carefully unwinding. Take a pause in kneeling. That's okay for you. Sitting up, just for a moment, let your hands rest onto your lap. Close the eyes. Okay, now I'm going to move this gear out of the way. I think for this, well, this next pose, this is a passive shoulder stretch. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna fold the arms. I'll just show you towards the count. I'm gonna fold the arms in front of me as though I'm embracing myself. Okay, so sometimes depending on your chest, you want to bring the arms a bit higher, just more like up towards the throat. Okay, and then the idea is to lay down. This is like the crossed arms position. You lay down on top of your arms. It's pretty intense. Okay, so take your time to set up that. And then, yeah, one brick is going to be helpful for the head. So the idea is to bring a pressure into the outer arms. Once you bring your belly to the floor, relaxing the belly and the pelvis and the legs. I'm supporting my forehead on a brick. And I should feel a stretch into the outer arms, the outer aspect. The deltoids. See if you can really relax the legs. It was a question of how to come out of this pose. You can wriggle out, or some people like to roll away to one side and open the chest that way. And then we'll come up and set ourselves up on the other side. So other arm on top. Carefully positioning the elbows, forearms, backs the hands on the floor. So you can rest down and into this pose. Powerful stretch for the outer shoulders.
Again, so the focus of the work is in the upper back and shoulders, but see if you can relax around the body.
I think Sudaka's dropped out. Oops.
Yeah, can't see him anywhere.
He probably won't realise, will he?
No.
Shall I send him a WhatsApp?
Yeah. Good idea.
So how long were you in there for? Sorry.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hey, you're back.
How-
That's good.
Okay, sorry, I completely lost the internet.
Never
Okay.
mind.
Okay, so you're in this one. You came out, and then we're gonna come to sitting. Okay.
Okay.
So I have some support in front of you. What happens with the internet, right? Just gonna switch the AirPods back on.
Okay, everybody can hear okay? Yes? Okay. So we're going to take the legs wide. And yeah, I wanted to do another quietening pose here. So taking your legs wide, so you're remembering to separate evenly the legs, extend up, and then project forwards and come down into a supportive position, wherever that's going to be. Okay, so whatever support you need there. Keep the legs active so we can again re-engage Pada Bandha. And breathe there, thinking about releasing in the pelvis, respecting the body here, aware that this pose is really difficult for some people, really easy for others.
You can again re-clarify, lengthening the spine and release back in. Activating the legs, projecting through the legs into the feet. And then on an inhale, restacking the spine, coming back up. Okay, now we're gonna move this gear out of the way now. And okay, so yeah, what I'd like us to try now is an inversion pose, but where we don't use equipment. So we're gonna use, I'll just show it to you first, maybe just re-familiarize yourself. So you lie into semi-supine onto your back, you roll up, so you can bring your hands underneath you, keep the throat area open, bring your hands underneath you, and then you roll the pelvis back into the hands. So you're really grounding through the forearms and coming into, it's like a Viparita Karani, but on the arms, okay? So let me just see what's going on there. Okay, so you lie down, and so you don't need to bring your knees to your forehead. You just swing up enough so you can get your hands underneath the pelvic crest, as it were, and then let your pelvis drop back into your hands, keeping the throat open, neck long. Really important, there's a sense of the neck long there. Don't turn your head. Okay, so very gentle with your neck, a very vulnerable area. And then again, we re-engage the active legs, Pada Bandha, re-engage a sense of Hasta Bandha, so the arms active, palms grounding against your body. And then Meru Bandha, so a sense of your spine long. But here also, just to break that down, Meru Bandha, so you can really get a feel for Uddiyana Bandha, sense of broadening the chest and rooting into Mula Bandha, so a sense of your pelvic area stabilized by the lower belly moving back towards the sacrum. It's like the lower belly area toning. So we focused a little bit on that today, the bandha. So keeping the head centered. Do not look at the screen, please. Stay there for a little bit longer. And clarifying, bringing weight into your elbows. Okay, to come down, we're going to bend the knees towards you. You don't have to bring them to the head. And release the arms and lower yourself down to the floor. Coming into semi-supine. And then broadening the back of the body. And then we're gently going to move the head from one side to another, very gently, very slowly, releasing any tension or residual tension from the neck. And bringing your head to center. Relaxing into semi-supine. We're not going to stay very long here, just a minute or two. Time to absorb the asana practice that we've done. So deliberately I was aiming to do a stronger session, mostly up on the feet.
And then when you're ready, so you can come back into Shavasana. We're going to do a short meditation. So when you're ready, moving to one side, and I'd like you to get enough gear that you can be seated, supported seated pose. We're going to do a short metta bhavana practice to finish here. And I'll allow you, as it were, to drop down into Shavasana when you're ready. So I'm going to move closer in so you can see people. Okay, so we're going to come into meditation pose. I mean, if you not really feel like sitting up, that's fine as well, okay? Okay, and then we're going to allow the spine to have a sort of re-encounter. That's Spanish English, isn't it? So to recalibrate towards the vertical axis. So this is now entering the phase of not doing, even though we are going to be practicing awareness. But more gently with the body now, quietening the body into meditation pose. So finding a place for your hands, maybe onto your lap or onto your thighs. And like us to bring us to a short metta bhavana. So it's going to be the loving kindness practice where we focus on just 3 stages. So it's oneself, and then those of us that we've been practicing together now over like 7 months. So I remember those first classes back in January in the cold. Now we're in July in the heat. So you can just be aware in the practice of those of us who've joined in. And then in the 3rd stage, we'll expand outwards. So starting with some mindfulness, general mindfulness of the body. Getting a sense of your energy, your vitality. And checking in again, the spine floating up now through the vertical axis. So the bandhas are there, but they're completely quiet. There's no sense of engaging in a muscular sense. It's almost like now an energetic sense of being rooted through the pelvis, gently lifting through the spine, Meru Bandha. Gently broadening the chest area, Uddiyana Bandha. The arms supporting the upper body, Hasta Bandha, but now very quiet. We're going to come into the 1st stage of Metta Bhavana, focusing as fully as you can on yourself. It's a sense of enveloping your body, your experience, however it is, however uncomfortable or difficult, with kindness. So if it helps, you can bring your hands onto your body even, you're grounding
in your physical experience. With this intention, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be able to face my difficulties, challenges. May I be willing to grow, let go, mess up, evolve. So bringing this kindness to our own body and heart. Softening your face, softening your neck and jaw, releasing the shoulders. Sense of feeling rooted down through the legs, through the pelvis. May I be well, may I be happy. May I be able to grow, overcome challenges. Being willing to make mistakes, fail even. Being kind to oneself. In the second stage, we're going to open up to those of us that are here. Doesn't need to be, you don't need to get everybody in the picture, but just being aware of the various meetings we've had over the last months. Gathering together into this Zoom space, Zoom call space. So may each and every one of us be free from difficulties, from suffering, be happy, be at ease. May we be able to face our difficulties and challenges, able to mess up and learn and grow. There's a warmth and generosity towards those of us that have been joining these sessions. Coming and going, meeting and parting. Maybe connecting with a sense of gratitude, to a sense of support that this kind of practice gives us. Checking in that you're releasing through the body, that the spine is finding the vertical axis, feeling rooted through the pelvis, through the legs. I'm moving into the last stage of this practice today, the bhavana. So we're going to expand our awareness to include all the beings around us, all those people we have contact with, day to day, week to week, month to month, including our friends and family, people we don't know, people we find difficult, people that we'll never meet in person, aware of many beings in all the directions. Remembering in this phase, you can include the natural world, animals, trees, living beings. Feeling a sense of connection through many contacts, even though we're alone, maybe right now, sense of connection through your friends, neighbors. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings find peace, harmony, and resolution of their difficulties. May all beings be free to evolve and grow. Sense of being centered in your own being, connecting with any quality of calm, confidence, and being aware that we're surrounded by a great deal of suffering in the world. We ourselves suffer, and looking for a sense of kindness, gentleness in response to that. Connecting also with your own well-being, the well-being of others. a sense of enjoyment, mutual enjoyment with that quality of well-being. And then from there, so feel free to move into Shavasana for a while. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'd just like to thank you